You wake up, and your mind is already running. Not physically, mentally. Before your day even begins, your thoughts are already moving, quiet at first, then louder, pulling you into things you didn't choose, things you didn't plan to think about. And within seconds, you're no longer just awake. You're already thinking, already processing, already reacting. And somehow, you already feel behind, like the day has already started, and you're already behind. Even though nothing has happened yet, no stress, no pressure, no real reason. And still, something feels heavy, like your mind never truly rested, like it just paused and then continued exactly where it left off. And if this feels familiar, it's not random. And it's not just how you are. It's a pattern, a very specific one. And it starts earlier than most people realize, because your day doesn't begin when you get out of bed. It begins the moment your mind activates. And for most people, that moment is completely automatic, unnoticed, uncontrolled. The second they wake up, they reach for something. Their phone, notifications, messages, information, noise. And in that moment, their mind doesn't wake up slowly. It gets pulled outward instantly into reaction, into comparison, into thinking. And from there, everything else follows. The overthinking, the mental fatigue, the constant background tension. Not because your life is overwhelming, but because your mind never had a stable starting point. It was activated too quickly, too early, and in the wrong direction. So the shift isn't about doing more. It's about changing how your mind enters the day. Because right now, you're starting in reaction mode. And reaction mode creates noise. It creates pressure. It creates mental exhaustion before your day even begins. So instead, you interrupt the pattern. Right at the beginning, when you wake up, you don't reach for anything. You pause. Just for a moment. No input, no distraction, no reaction. Just awareness. Not trying to control your thoughts, not trying to force silence, just noticing that you're awake, that your body is there, that your mind hasn't fully taken over yet. And in that small space, something changes. Your thoughts don't immediately spiral. Your attention doesn't scatter. Your mind stays more grounded, and that changes your entire starting point. Because once your mind doesn't attach to something external immediately, it becomes quieter, less reactive, less urgent. And that quiet is what most people are missing. And the reason most people never notice this is because they've never experienced the opposite. They've never experienced what it feels like to wake up without immediately reacting, without their mind jumping from one thought to the next, without that subtle pressure in the background. So they assume this is normal, that this constant mental movement is just part of being alive. But it isn't. It's a learned pattern, one that repeats itself every single morning. And the more it repeats, the stronger it becomes. Until eventually, it feels like your natural state, like something you can't change. But the moment you interrupt it, even slightly, you start to feel the difference. Not dramatically, not all at once, but enough to notice. Your thoughts don't rush as quickly, your attention doesn't scatter as easily, and for a brief moment, there's space. And that space is important, because that's where your mind resets. Not by forcing it, not by controlling it, but by simply not feeding it the same triggers. And most people never give themselves that chance. They wake up and immediately fill that space again, with noise, with input, with distraction, and then they wonder why their mind feels so full all the time. But once you see this clearly, it changes the way you look at your mornings, because now it's no longer random. Now you understand the cause. And once you understand the cause, you can start changing the effect. Now there's something else happening at the same time. Something subtle, but incredibly important. Light. The moment your eyes receive natural light, your brain gets a signal. Not just that it's morning, but that it's time to regulate, to align your internal state, to stabilize your energy. Without that signal, your system stays slightly off. And that off feeling is what most people carry into their day. It feels like low energy, like mental fog, like something isn't quite right. So instead of starting your day with artificial light, screens, and stimulation, you give your brain what it actually needs: real light. Even briefly, even quietly, because this isn't about effort, it's about alignment. Now here's where things go deeper, because mental exhaustion isn't just about what you do, it's about how your mind is operating, constantly scanning, constantly processing, constantly trying to stay ahead. And when your day starts without direction, your mind fills that space on its own, usually with noise, with overthinking, with unnecessary loops. So instead of letting that happen, you give your mind something simple, a direction, not 10 tasks, not pressure, just one intention, something like, today I stay calm, today I don't rush, today I focus on what matters. And that small decision does something powerful. It organizes your thinking without forcing it. It gives your mind a reference point. So instead of reacting to everything, you move with intention. And that alone reduces mental load before it even builds. But even with direction, there's something deeper that needs to shift: your state. Because if your body is tense, your mind will follow, no matter how logical your thoughts are. So instead of trying to think your way out of it, you regulate your system first through something simple: breathing, slow, controlled, intentional. And when you do that, you send a signal to your body. There is no immediate threat, and your system responds. Your heart rate slows, your tension decreases, your thoughts lose intensity, and suddenly, everything feels more manageable. Not because your situation changed, but because your starting point did. Now here's something most people overlook completely: what you consume in the first hour of your day. Because your mind is highly impressionable in that state. Whatever you expose it to becomes your baseline. If the first thing you see is stress, negativity, comparison, your mind builds on that. It amplifies it. And even if you don't notice it immediately, you feel it later, as tension, as fatigue, as mental clutter. So instead of feeding your mind noise, you protect that space. You keep it clear, intentional, quiet, because the less your mind has to process early on, the more energy it has later, and that changes everything. Now something that most people underestimate: movement. Not intense, not structured, just enough to break stillness. Because when your body stays still, your mind tends to stay stuck. But when you move, even slightly, you create flow. And that flow carries into your thinking, into your focus, into your emotional state. It doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to exist. And that small shift is often enough to interrupt overthinking before it fully builds. And once your system is moving, once your mind has direction, once your state is stable, something changes. Your thoughts become quieter, not gone, but less dominant, less overwhelming, more distant. And that's where clarity begins. Not by forcing silence, but by removing what creates noise. And over time, this compounds. Your mornings feel lighter. Your thoughts feel more manageable. Your energy becomes more consistent. And you stop feeling like your mind is working against you. Because now, you're guiding it, not reacting to it. And that changes everything. Because your mind isn't the problem, it's the way it's being activated. And once you see that, you stop fighting it. You stop trying to control every thought, and instead, you change the conditions that create them. And that's where real control begins. Not over your day, but over your state. And if you felt mentally drained for a long time, this is where it shifts. Not instantly, not dramatically, but clearly. Because once your mind starts the day differently, everything else follows. Your thoughts feel lighter, Your reactions feel slower, your focus becomes sharper, and your energy stops dropping so quickly. Not because your life changed, but because your starting point did. And this is where most people make a mistake. They try to change everything at once. They try to build the perfect routine, the perfect system, the perfect mindset, and they fail not because they're not capable, but because they're trying to force a complete shift overnight. But this doesn't work like that, because your mind doesn't change through pressure. It changes through repetition, through small, consistent adjustments. So instead of trying to fix everything, you focus on one thing, just one. You change how you wake up, nothing else. No extra habits, no complicated routine, just the first few minutes, because that's where the pattern begins, and that's where it can be changed. And once that beginning shifts, everything that follows becomes easier, more natural, less forced, because now you're no longer fighting your mind, you're working with it. So tomorrow on, don't try to fix everything. Don't add pressure. Don't overcomplicate it. Just change the first moments, because that's where your day is decided. And once you get that right, you don't just feel better. You think differently, you move differently, you experience everything differently. And that's the shift most people are missing. But now you're aware of it. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. And when that happens, your mornings stop controlling you, and you start controlling them. And that's the moment everything begins to change. Not your life overnight, not everything at once, but something far more important, the way your mind meets the day. And once that changes, everything else slowly starts to follow. And if this felt familiar, you might want to pay attention to what happens next.